This is Secondary 1, Quarter 2, video number 2. You will need to have the notes that you are working on. You will have to turn these in, so make sure you have those finished. On this video, we are going to talk about writing matrix equations. So we have already learned how to solve systems of equations in 3 different ways in class. Number 1 was by graphing. And number 2 was by a method called substitution. And number 3 was the method of elimination. And graphing is our least favorable method because sometimes it can just be inaccurate. Substitution and elimination are great. Let's review how to do those. First, graphing. In order to do that, we're going to have to take both of these equations and put them in slope-intercept form. So this first one, if I subtract 2x from both sides, I'm going to have negative y equals negative 2x plus 8, and then I'm going to divide everything by negative 1, so I'll have y is equal to 2x minus 8, and I can graph that. So I will go down to my intercept, and you can do this on your paper, and then you're going to have a slope of 2, and we're going to draw our line. Okay, and then our second equation, we're going to subtract x from both sides, and so y is equal to negative x plus 4. So, come up here to positive 4, my intercept is negative x, or sorry, negative 1. My intercept is 4, my slope is negative 1. And I can see that they are intersecting right there, so my solution looks like it will be 4, 0. Okay, we're going to solve the second equation using substitution. It's actually the same equation, but we're just going to practice doing this. Remember that you have to get one of your equations to say either x equals or y equals. So I'm going to take this the second equation and say x is equal to 4 minus y. Then I'll take that, put it in place of x. So 2 times 4 minus y, that's 2x minus y equals 8. That's 8 minus 2y, distributive property. 8 minus 2y minus y, that's minus 3y equals 8. So now I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And I'm going to move up here. I will get negative 3y is equal to 0. Divide both sides by negative 3. Y is equal to 0. Now to find what x is, I'm going to take that. I'm going to substitute it back in so I can find x. So x plus 0 is equal to 4, which means x is equal to 4. That means that my solution is 4, 0, which works out because that's what we found in when we used graphing. We're going to take the same system and we'll use elimination. So to do that, we are going to add these two equations together. So 2x and x is 3x. Negative y plus y is gone, eliminated. 8 plus 4 is 12, and so x is equal to 4. I'm going to take that, we'll find y. So 4 plus y is equal to 4, and so y would have to be 0. That means my solution is 4, 0. Okay, so we are going to look at solving just a matrix equation. This is not a system, but we're just going to first solve a matrix equation. And so remember that the equal sign, that means that the two pieces are equal. So if matrix A is equal to matrix B, that would mean that all of the elements are equal with their corresponding elements. That means that 2x has to be the same thing as 14. So we can write an equation for that. And we find out that x is equal to 7. We would also know then that negative 5y is equal to 25, so we can write an equation for that. And so y is equal to negative 5. And so in this particular matrix equation, we would find that x is equal to 7 and y is equal to negative 5. Since it's not a system of equations, we don't know that we need to write it in an ordered pair. Okay, let's take this equation, this matrix equation, we're going to solve for x. So if you look at the corresponding pieces, 8 is equal to 8, 9 is equal to 9, so there's nothing to do with those. If you look at the next one, 3x plus 7 equals 6x plus 13, I need to find out what x is. So I know that those two pieces are equal because they're in the corresponding positions. So let's get x together on one side. I'll subtract 3x, and I'm going to have 7 is equal to 3x plus 13. Now I'm going to subtract 13. And so negative 6 is equal to 3x. Divide by 3. And I get x is equal to negative 2. Alright, and then in the next one, we see that 5x minus 4 is equal to 7x. And so if I subtract 5x from both sides and divide by 2, I get x is equal to negative 2. Notice that that's the same thing. They're in the same equation, so x has to equal the same thing as long as it's within the same equation. Okay, now we are going to use matrix equations to solve systems, but first we have to make sure that we know how to write our system of equations that we have right here as a matrix equation. And so the way that you do that is you take your x coefficients and you put them in your first matrix, and you take your y coefficients and you put them in the matrix. Notice we take the signs with us, so that negative y, that's going to be a negative 1. In the second matrix, this is our variable matrix, and so we're going to put our x and our y there. And just as a little quick side note, if we were to multiply this matrix with this matrix, I would have 2 times x minus 1 times y, and then I would have 1 times x plus 1 times y. So you notice that that's the same exact thing that we had there. Alright, so then the third part of our matrix equation is going to be our constants. So our constants, they are going to go in this matrix over here. This is a matrix equation. So practice writing this equation as a matrix equation. So we're going to set up, we're going to have our coefficients matrix, our variable matrix, and our constant matrix. So I'm going to take my coefficients and my other coefficients. Make sure you get all of the signs. You're going to get your variables, and then you're going to get your constants. And that's your matrix equation for this system. And then we'll use that in the next video to learn how to solve. So now you're going to complete problems number 4 through 7 on your packet. Then go to video 3.